appropriation is the bottom category for the department, or do you think an appropriation is, or the appropriation is for the department, but the line item is the individual meetings and conferences, heating, electricity?
Maybe a conflict of interest for me to answer that question.
If you go
For
back,
my department.
if you go back and look at the law, I think the law, the RSAs, relate to that form that we send to the state, that 42 something or other.
Right.
That is where we have to stay within those lines. But the delegation may request that when we go over in a department, in order to transfer out of another department to meet that obligation of the one that went over, we need delegation approval. But I think the law goes to that form that we send to the state, which hardly makes any sense, really.
I agree with that.
Anybody else got any more questions? Yes, Ed?
I'd like just to switch gears here. A while back, we had a problem with the evidence yard. Is there an update on that evidence yard, and has that been solved?
More rusty.
Yeah.
More pollution seeping into the ground.
Delegation didn't approve any money to go forward with it.
So is it correct to assume that you still have evidence sitting in a
Barnyard.
field, not covered?
Yes.
Correct.
But what I can say is that I've done everything physically possible in the court system to get these vehicles released, and of the authority to do so, to return them to their rightful owners. And it's part of my case management every week. But I think that if we review what's going on over there, I don't think we've been able to move them out and manage them. And it's been a very difficult situation because we don't have a new place to put them and organize them and keep them safe. So it's kind of a quandary as to whether or not we're able to do what we said we wanted to do at the beginning of the year. We haven't had a lot of success in it, and I meet frequently with the agencies involved, state, county, local, and the orders have been passed along to move them, but the sheriff's department is managing them, and I don't think they're having much success.
The progress that we have made is White Mountain Survey came in and looked at the site, designed the site, and when our farm manager went to find out what it would cost to do it, it was something like $35,000. The delegation wouldn't approve that amount of money, so the site is there, it's all laid out by a surveyor, what needs to be done. We need the funds to do it. Mr. Babson, you had your hand up.
Yes, I had two questions. I've forgotten one of them. But Tom, how many cases I know the second one. How many cases in the last 10 years, because you haven't been county attorney that long, how many cases have been lost because the evidence out there of those automobiles was found to be defective? I can remember, I was on this delegation for 12 years, and I can remember Sheriff Carr coming in and saying somebody had kicked out two windows in two cars, and that was the justification for putting them in some kind of a safe compound. How many cases do you know of that have been lost, or can you find out have been lost because of faulty automobile evidence out here? And the second question is, we at one time a year ago got a list of the automobiles that were out there, how long they've been here. Last year, one or two of them were here from the 90s, as I recall.
I think we have 14 out there, my last count.
And what's the longevity in that lot?
There's several vehicles in the, I think it's the 04 range, and that doesn't mean that those are 04 cases, but that's a category of uncertainty of, where their determination is.
Are you saying the cases haven't been settled since 2004?
They must have been. It's just that,
Well, then what's the holdup in getting rid of these things?
well, the problem is some of them are burnt beyond recognition. There's a couple of those. or
Okay, so
one-
we scrap them.
Well,
If you can't recognize them,
Who
who's
owns
gonna
them?
know? Who's gonna know? But
Who owns
if they're not recognizable, then nobody can figure out who owns them, so get rid of them.
well, and that's a limited circumstance. There are others there that are associated with the case, but I'm not involved in the calling of, those people or insurance companies that were involved to, get them released, so I don't.
Who is?
Well, the sheriff's department, I guess, is in charge of it. And I've spoken with Sheriff Connolly in numerous occasions, and he's trying to, of course, get his department back up to speed and
Lieutenant Santuccio
is
keeps
trying.
a record of
Right.
it, and he tries to get things
Right.
released.
But he's assigning them to different deputies, and, they've been working on them, and the sheriff is trying to give it attention, I guess, to get it done, but I haven't received any progress yet.
I haven't seen any cars leaving either.
No.
I've seen
that's
one
what I-
motorcycle go, that motorcycle accident, that's been released, or that's disappeared anyway.
It has? I hope not.
Last time I looked over there, it wasn't there, unless it's put under cover somewhere.
Well, okay, I guess I better go back over it.
It's not there.
I hope it's not. I hope it's there.
Okay, we got any other further questions regarding the right to know law, or the impound yard, or what the
My
county
question
attorneys
was,
are
can we
doing?
can we, as a member of the delegation, get a list of these 14 vehicles and where they are, whether the case has been settled and it's just sitting out there, or whether it's tied up somehow, or the insurance company isn't doing what they're supposed to be, in that case, send them a bill and they'll get it out quick, or whatever, somebody's gotta do something.
Would you, Asher, talk with Lieutenant Santuccio and get a list of all the vehicles that are over there?
We give a color-coded list once every 8 weeks or so. Wanda's been working with that.
Good.
I have it in my office.
Can we get a copy of it
Okay,
for
then maybe
delegation
he's got
meeting?
it already.
Oh, you have?
Well, we have one that can be created for you, a current status. It's on her desk.
Oh, okay.
I just one that's all color-coded so you'll understand it. Which ones are pending, which ones are
Yeah, I remember seeing
been
that.
released.
Dana?
With the price of metal going up, it seems like with the cases that are
$300
adjudicated,
a car.
you just stick a free sign on it and, people will take it for
Yeah,
scrap.
we took it.
The farm crew will take it
Yeah.
and get rid of the vehicle whenever they are released.
That's-
Will's already been told that, and he has, I think, taken some out. But
See, the
maybe he took the motorcycle.
problem is that,
By mistake.
all these people had their evidence there, and then, we come to case disposition, and you might get some comments there, but sometimes the victims, they just don't respond. Either it's a junk car, or they don't care about it, or whatever. And then there's the issue of, there's a legal process. You just can't say, well, okay, if you don't come get it in 10 days, we're gonna bring it down to the junkyard. That would be at our risk, and then we'd say, oh, all right, well, it's already been crushed, well, I just couldn't get down here, but, you don't know.
Can't you send them a letter of release after it's been here a year or so, or 6 months?
It's been very difficult, because I've asked the staff to follow up on these things. I was dealing with one car, and there was evidence inside and out, and each had different victims, and I said, well, let's just move it along, but do you think anybody would come get it or cooperate? It's still sitting there. I said, I went to the effort of getting the judge's order and getting it into the record, and it just comes to a complete halt.
So you've got legal permission to get rid of this vehicle, but nobody will do anything? Is that what you're saying?
That's.
Well, the one you just gave us an example.
Yeah.
Well, certainly the commissioners then ought to take the bull by the horns and find out what the story is and get it moving. If it's been okay to go and he's notified the people that own the car.
If Lieutenant Santuccio tells us it's released, we'll release it, we'll get some money for it.
Why do you even have to wait for him if the county attorney says?
Well, I'm not
you get
sure
the
whether the
release?
county attorney's got it, or the sheriff's department is responsible for the vehicles right now. they're holding them for whatever the county attorney needs to have them for evidence. Now, what happens when the state police brings in the vehicle 2 o'clock in the morning? Do you still handle that case? Or
Well,
do they do it?
most of the evidence that's here, if not all of it, is concerning Superior Court prosecution. Because the local departments, to some extent, if it's not coming here for Superior Court prosecution, they handled it at their own departments, or we're not taking them for that purpose.
Okay, so those cars that are held in Conway Police Department yard, that's their responsibility? You don't have anything to do with that?
No, that's not our evidence.
Okay.
That's being managed by the Conway Police Department. Same thing at Troop E.
Okay.
Some of our evidence is at Troop E because we just don't have the place to put it here. And it's, sometimes it requires as Ed has said, some protection for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. And so they house it in their garage or their evidence storage.
Yeah.
And, but, I wholeheartedly agree that something needs to be done, and that's what I have tried to do since I brought this up months ago. But on the other hand, I need some compromise position from the delegation to get just an area. It doesn't have to be the most sophisticated compound, but it's gotta be an area that's a lot better than where it is, sinking into the grass next to the nursing home. Just so that we can at least give it a management perspective and at least organize it and protect it. But
Plus-
I can't do that. I've got policies that I'm ready to implement to protect it, to make sure the departments bring in, protection and everything like that, but then it has to be controlled, and we need fence, and we need, a ground to put it on. In an area for security.
You've been opposed to it all along, Mr. Batson.
Yes, I
so-
have.
Yes, Dana?
Well, it seems like we have two sets of cars here. We have the cars that are needed for evidence, and we have the cars that are no longer needed. What if you kind of bifurcated those cars and kept the cars that you need in evidence in one area, and then put the,
Have
being a little
more
facetious,
areas.
put the scrap cars out on the lawn and say, take it away for free.
Free.
Tom's scrap car yard.
That's not the issue. The issue is if we could get rid of them, we will get rid of them.
Right, that would get
We
rid of them quicker.
Yeah.
We don't need to give it away for free to anybody. We just need to know that that they are no longer
There's no
needed.
interest in
There's no
There's
interest
no
in them.
order to hold them there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a question that we can't get rid of them. It's a question of timing. When can we get rid of them?
I remember back a few years ago where a state trooper parked her car, her vehicle down there, and a trailer truck came in, loaded up with Alan's help, loaded up on a flatbed, and they were hauled off to New York or Ohio or someplace. And we got rid of 4 or 5 cars, or vehicles, I should say. I don't know if they were all cars. But that was regarding the state police. They somehow or other released those. And she was there signing as they went out, or as they were loaded.
It just seems like we're sitting on some money here with the scrap metal.
Right.
Well, I just need them moved. I've
Yeah.
given my orders from the judge, and I need action.
Right. But to make Tom's life easier, couldn't the sheriff move some of the cars somewhere else, and Tom
Where
could
would-
keep the cars that he needs?
If we had someplace, we would have
So
done
now
it.
we're gonna double the area that we're gonna be responsible
Yeah, I
for.
mean,
We have a nice showroom.
Plus,
right?
we're gonna spread the oil, the gas out
I-
all over the land or whatever.
I just,
Pollute the
I
rest of
just
the
need
property.
an area cleared and a foundation or a protection thing just to get them to that area, and then we can go from that and plead to the delegation for money.
Seems like the former county attorney was singing the
Definitely.
same song. So, hasn't
Yeah.
changed,
No.
just the face.
No, I just, it's what's best for the county. I mean, I'm just trying to deal with a bad situation.
I know we had a big to-do when we put out that all towns are gonna be responsible for taking care of their own cause for evidence.
Right.
That
That
didn't
didn't
go
work
over
out.
too well.
No.
Well, I know the sheriff has been actively working with the state police. The state police has a lot here. It's just, it